Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, do feel free to subscribe, it would certainly mean a lot. In today's recap, well, there's coverage on Bamboo Airways, which are going to be making some changes to their fleet. Delta is partnering up with an airline, the catch being that very airline is yet to launch, and Alaska Airlines is also expanding its own network. Let me begin with the Airline Partnership. Delta has confirmed it'll partner with the upcoming Riad Air of Saudi Arabia to increase connectivity between the kingdom and North America, particularly focusing in on the United States. The partnership falls under strategic cooperation, and its signing is initially an MOU. Once launched, the hope is customers' benefits will be felt broadly across multiple angles. Expanding networks alongside the ability to develop the partnership further with the implementation of varying degrees of initiatives is really a crucial building block for the deal looking far ahead. Furthermore, the two airlines highlight the belief that coming together is the best decision to drive future growth, as their networks are obviously only expected to grow in the future, and there's a lot of untapped potential there. Delta has made it clear it wants to connect the world and give its loyal customers as many choices as possible in its attempts to do this. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia remains a focus, and the best way to access that is by developing a partnership with Riad Air. The partnership is intended to be a long-term one, and while it is still subject to all relevant regulatory approval, in the future, this could entail code share benefits, interline agreements, and even as far as enhanced loyalty networks, customer experience, and digital factors all to be improved and working hand in hand, essentially simultaneously, to offer the best possible travel experience. Delta further adds that the partnership will open non-stop service between the United States and Riyadh on a Delta-operated aircraft, something definitely to watch out for. But as for Riad Air, well, they've announced several partnerships with airlines right around the world, Delta being the latest as it gears up for a 2025 launch of scheduled passenger flights. These partnerships stretch from Turkish Airlines to Singapore Airlines, even over to Air China, with its connectivity set to be optimized from the moment it launches. And it's not going for small airlines by any means. In fact, it's opting for some of the biggest companies in the world. Once this airline launches, it hopes to operate exclusively with Boeing planes, led by a commitment to the 787 Dreamliner as its sole wide-body aircraft. Specific firm routes are yet to be identified, but the ambition is very much clear: to be a global airline and do so in a successful manner. In the meantime, as the company awaits aircraft delivery and permission to formally launch, the strategic signing of partnerships like that of with Delta will give it the best possible start to ensure long-term success. The company's launch aligns with the kingdom's view of increasing tourism by the 2030s and isn't intended to compete with the existing Saudia or be, say, a replacement. Instead, the kingdom says, alongside upcoming airline executives, that it will complement Saudia, and they'll look to grow together for the long term. Riad Air is backed by the likes of Tony Douglas, who you may recall previously worked at Etihad Airways, and several other leading individuals in the space that are looking to make this new airline a powerhouse. Moving across to Bamboo Airways, who are planning to grow their fleet to 12 units by the end of this year, permitting the operating conditions over the next 6 months don't alter too significantly. The Vietnamese airline has made pretty hefty changes to its fleet in the last 18 months, and this would have been led by the decision to remove the 787 Dreamliner, and therefore end long-haul flights. This was made in the last quarter of the 2023 calendar year. Ultimately, removing the 787 raised concerns, and you'd feel very much valid ones, about the airline's long-term place in the industry, alongside other problems that it was facing that I'll get into a little bit later in this segment. But to align with the 787's departure, and what would be a pretty big change to their company, Bamboo charted a course that involved restructuring. The company's restructuring was deemed essential to ensure that it could survive for the long term within our industry, or at least give it the best possible shot of achieving this. This new structure that we were looking at for Bamboo eliminated the need to operate wide-body aircraft, which was deemed far from suitable, and removing these 787s was going to allow the airline to focus on domestic routes and international ops across Southeast Asia. According to the company, these aforementioned markets had a lot of demand that they could capitalize on. Following the restructuring period, the airline's general director would not want to stop at just 12 units being achieved this year as part of a fleet, with a vision to increase this upwards to 18 by the end of 2025. Despite these ambitions, the airline knows that the challenging operating environment, which presents many curveballs, remains. Bamboo Airways, as a result, will be measured with its future growth and not make any rash decisions. However, the need to grow remains a huge part of its focus to ensure that it can continue moving in a positive direction and not necessarily backwards. Adding new aircraft would allow the airline to optimize its domestic network further, and even go as far as focusing on international destinations on a more short-haul basis. To increase the fleet, Bamboo Airways will likely remain with the A320 family, which has been the focal point of the restructuring. A mix between the A320 and A321 aircraft has provided Bamboo with the optimal blend to reach markets that require either a higher capacity or a more modest aircraft. A little bit earlier in this segment, I did make mention of some of the struggles that were reported, and that is when they were struggling to pay pilot wages, resulting in numerous staff departures. In fact, 30 foreign pilots were said to have left the airline in June 2023, which equated to more than 10% of their total staff. When the company confirmed the 787's removal, well, some analysts argued that Bamboo would struggle to recover. The focus on growth is obviously a pretty stark switch from the airline's challenges, and now in mid-2024, under a more streamlined nature, it is hoping to chart a course where it will meet all available demand across its short-haul network, with the addition of more aircraft. On to the final story, and that is Alaska Airlines, who have announced a pretty hefty expansion across their upcoming winter schedule, and this is for your 2024-2025 season, with plans to enhance its commitment to connectivity. The expansion includes 18 new non-stop routes focused on warm weather destinations internationally, but furthermore, they're not just prioritizing warm weather, they also want to offer winter wonderland escapes. Feel free to take a moment to pause the video now. On your screen is going to be the absolutely massive amount of changes that we'll be seeing to their network, with new routes set to commence in December of this year and January of next. What is very interesting to note is the vast majority, in fact 17 out of the 18, are seasonal. Therefore, they're really only going to be operating for a couple of months to meet peak demand, operating either daily or a couple times a week. In some cases, even just once. There is only one route that will operate daily and year-round, and that will be operated by the E175. Alaska Airlines says whether its customers are traveling for pleasure or for business, it is committed to offering the best possible flight experience as it prepares for the winter schedule. While we are in the summer, airlines need to be forward planning, and this is a perfect example of just how much work goes into scheduling for airlines. And from sports to warm weather resorts, the mixture of routes that will be offered will allow them to hopefully have a successful winter operation, weather permitting, of course. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. It is sincerely appreciated. If you have any thoughts, you know the best place to leave them is down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest industry news.